Wednesday. Hey, everybody. I'm not sure I'm always used to like Tomato Tuesday, Awesome Sauce Thursday. So Wednesday's going to take some getting used to. Welcome. If it's your first time watching, or even if it's not, my name is Lauren, otherwise known as Mrs. Tomato Head. And I've been doing these shows. This is episode 3 of my 2026 tomato grow list. We've done 30. We've done it the past 2 weeks. This will be week 3, and I've been doing 30 varieties each time. So I'm going to try to get through 30 again today. Welcome. Glad to have you here with us. My channel is having a moment. I don't even know what to say. My previous 2 grow list videos, part 1 and part 2, seem to be getting a whole lot of watches, and my channel is well, it's like doubled in size in like a week. I can't explain it. But if it's your first time watching, I'm happy to have you. And if for those who've been watching for a while, happy to have you as well. What I do on these shows, and I also have a show on Thursdays, so I do Wednesdays and Thursdays. Thursday, my show is called Lauren's Tomato Awesome Sauce, so that will be tomorrow. And I go through similar format to what I do with my grow list too. I go through and choose like 15-ish varieties each week that I'm not necessarily growing, but that I've become obsessed with that week. And I show photos and I share details about the origin and stories behind it, breeder information if possible. And I'm more interactive with the audience. I love getting comments on the screen, like from our friend Sherman here. And I love interacting with you all. On these grow list ones, though, I try to keep the comments to a minimum just so we can get through so many. So that's what I do on Thursdays. Wednesdays, for now, it's the grow list videos, and then it will be garden tours. In just a couple of months, I do unboxings and stuff. It used to be Tuesdays. Now it will be Wednesdays. Tuesdays is a pepper show that Ken Fry is doing. And starting Friday, my buddy and partner in Tomato Talk Live, Jen Joy, is starting her show with this format, but not about tomatoes. There's been a little curiosity about tomatoes, not about tomatoes, but she does so much other gardening. She knows all kinds of things about plants and flowers, and she's so uber enthusiastic. If you don't subscribe to her channel, please do. Her name is Jen Joy. We do a show on the first Friday night of Friday night our time, for us, called Tomato Talk Live. And we have our next one coming up next Friday. And we have breeder from the United States, Ongwei Es, with us, which we're super excited about. We'll be talking about tomato genetics, growing, and basically all things tomato. He'll be on hand for a Q&A. So that's exciting. So for those of you that may be new and haven't watched me before, let me tell you what I'm about. I co-run a group on Facebook community called Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap. And we are basically just a community, a collective for the tomato lover. Whether you've been growing a long time like me, or whether you're just getting started, maybe it's your first year, maybe you're not even growing tomatoes, but you're thinking of it in the future. We appeal to everybody. There are no stupid questions. We do share seeds. We share stories. We share photos. We share questions. It's really a kind, generous, and completely drama-free place. So if you're not on Facebook, join just to be a part of our community. So I run that with Jen Joy and Kina Tanarud, our friend from Norway. I have my YouTube channel and my Instagram, Mr. and Mrs. Tomato Head. The Mr. part of the Tomato Head, he's really kind of behind the scenes. We do stuff like, he doesn't like to be on camera. So it's more like Mrs. Tomato Head. But the channel and the page is like, the reviews and stuff are ours. We decide these things together. And basically, I'm a tomato enthusiast. I'm a seed collector, and I was a seed steward, and also somebody who likes to get things out into circulation. I am not a vendor. I don't charge. I will never charge for seeds. I'm fortunate enough to get rare things sent in by you viewers, or I can find them across the world in one way, shape, or form. And I'm going to be talking about some of those today. I love growing them, but I also love sharing them. If I'm fortunate enough that the plant did well and I can share seeds, I love sharing with all of you especially the ones that I love, and there have been quite a few of those the last couple of years. So that's kind of what I'm about. There's going to be some things today. I shared one last week, one that I got from the National Grin called Mosage or Mosage. There's going to be another one today that I'm also getting out into circulation, which I am excited about, and I'll talk to you about in a minute. But I love sharing these seeds with all of you, and I love seeing all of you grow them, and maybe you love them as much as I do, maybe you don't. So I am not an expert. I don't claim to be an expert, but I do share my honest opinion and hope that I am providing some fun and an escape for a couple of hours where we can talk about tomatoes. Oh, hey, look, this just came in. For those of you in the group, was it Missy? Somebody in the group posted, it's like a little micro dwarf tomato plant, and it says Awesome Sauce, which is the name of my Thursday show. So I got it. It came in yesterday. It's really tiny. It comes with cocoa core pellets, like what's the word I'm looking for? What you can grow in, not soil, but medium, planting medium, and some seeds in there. But I'm only going to use it just for the can because it's super cute. So that's what I'm about. And I'm fortunate enough to have so many of you who've become friends. We love to come here. If you're able to tune in live, that's great. We've become a real, you're like a family, honestly. It's a nice escape. And for those of you that can't watch live, we are recorded too. So we honor you. So speaking of my channel going kind of crazy the past couple weeks or so, I wanted to start by sharing something that's super funny that kind of just happened. I haven't even told Kina and Jen about it. So I got a comment, I think it was on my Grow List 2 video, the one from last week. Got a comment that looked like this just a couple hours ago. And I'm like, oh, I'm not sure what language that is. Could be Russian, maybe Ukraine. I don't recognize the name of the person. But I'm like, oh, wow, you know, cool comment. Let's see what it says. You know, I was super excited. Then you can see underneath there, translate to English, which I did. And it says, how annoying you are. Wah, wah. So if that is you and you're watching, hi there. I'm sorry you find me annoying. Maybe you shouldn't watch if I'm that annoying. So I responded with LOL, okay, thanks. So I don't want to say that's my first troll, but it kind of is. I mean, I've had fortunate of not having too many people bother the live, but I thought that was super funny. So the trials and tribulations of your channel getting bigger. Let's say hi to a couple people and then we'll dive right into the tomatoes because I'm super excited to talk to you guys about some of this stuff today. About all of this stuff. Are you kidding? If I'm growing it, that means I'm excited about it. I'm passionate about it. It is agonizing taking things off of my grow list. And then I get things in the mail, like one's on the way that I'm going to talk about today. That's just like mind blowing to me. Where I keep adding and I'm supposed to be taking off, but you guys make it really, really difficult. But I have to tell you, I'm super grateful for this community and for you guys looking for things for me and trusting me with maybe things that you are breeding yourself or whatever. Let's just say I had a couple people. Who do we have here? We've got, hey, Skano Ongwei, nice to see you here. I'm talking about, I think, 2 of your varieties today. Who else do we have? I see Haley's here, Achilles here, Mike, Francis, Nicole. I really would love to get all of your comments on screen, but for the Wednesday shows, it's just best if I don't. Francis, love your Bananas Noir plant is looking awesome in my garden, and Malachite box is my largest plant so far. Way to go! For those of you that may not know, Bananas Noir is an accidental cross we had in our garden a long time ago, like 8, 9 years ago, probably at this point, maybe 10. And so I stabilized it. Rob and I stabilized it, and we put it out into the world. It's basically a smaller version, looks just like Ananas Noir, which is what the cross was. It was Ananas Noir and an unknown cherry, which I think was Coyote, but I'm not positive. So it looks like a smaller version of Ananas Noir, but is much sweeter. So happy to see you growing it. All right, I want to see what you guys thought about my super duper I was saying to my daughter Riley, I'm like, I had my first heckler, and she's like, no, Mom, it's a troll. Keely, wow, don't listen to them. These shows are like a nice hug from a loved one. They just make you happy. They make me happy. And if I make you guys happy too, that's super cool. Um, oh, thanks, Iris. Bananas Noir was one of our faves last year, and we are growing it again this year if spring ever arrives. So believe it or not, I am not growing regular Bananas Noir this year for the first time ever. But the past 2 years, we've gotten a version. I'm calling it Bananas Noir Mini for the time being. They're smaller fruits, even smaller and more colorful, and they're really sweet. So I'm hoping to get something out of it. I'm going to see. You know, we'll see what year. Is this year 2 or 3? I think it's year 2. No, it would be year 3 of it. Year 3. So we shall see. But I'm really grateful that you guys are growing it, and always nice to hear what you think. Okay, let's go to our slideshow, shall we? Hey, Alex. I see Alex here. I'm talking about one of the varieties you are making me grow. All right, so yes, you are. How annoying you are. I can put that on my tombstone. All right, let's get into some tomatoes here. Here's the first one. This is a Bill Yoder release. Bill Yoder is a breeder from the United States who I love his tomatoes. Many of us do. He has series of tomatoes named after 80s rock bands and rock stars, sort of known as the rock star tomato breeder. At least that's what I call him. And I think his business is now officially called Rockstar Tomatoes. He comes out with things. I also call him the color wizard because he comes out with things that I don't know how you get colors in nature that are like this, but he does. And this one's called Gardening at Night. This is from a song by REM from their debut album of Chronic Town in 1982. He says it's one of his favorite songs. He said he's been working on this one for a while. The very productive plants produce chocolate-colored cherries with a flavor that I prefer over similar dark cherries. Strong plants get very tall and will need support. By the way, if any of you are growing any of the things that I'm sharing, please say so in the comments. And if you're new, say hi in the comments. We would love to say hi to you. Hopefully you don't find me annoying. I wondered about that, Heidi, if it translated wrong. That's kind of why I answered with like, what did I say? LOL. Okay, thanks. I wondered, but even if it translated wrong, the translation was just so funny. If you could have seen, I was so excited. I'm like, oh, let me translate this. Let me translate this. And then it's like, how annoying you are. I don't take it personally. Bill Yoder is a tomato wizard for sure. Hi, Nicole. I'm not too new, says Larissa. Nice to see you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We have 83 live viewers so far. If you're a new subscriber, thank you for subscribing. I hope you enjoy the format. I love doing these live shows with you all. We have a good time. All right, next one. This is a repeat. Not that I grew it before, but I tried to grow it before. I tried to grow it last year. I refer to my friend Marco from Germany quite a bit. I talked about him just last week, as a matter of fact. He and I have the same palate. And he's the one that told me or gave me seeds for Verde de las Landas, which then became, a lot of people started growing that one from Spain. Amila, which is a hybrid from Japan, and Mazzora, which I'm going to be talking about today, I think, which is one of the best tomatoes I've ever had. So he told me last year, he sent me seeds for this. And he says it's one of the best tomatoes he's ever had, and I could not get germination. I'm kind of a germination wizard. I have to toot my own horn. I'm pretty good at germination as long as it can be germinated. They all can't. Sometimes seeds are just too far gone, you know, for whatever reason. They're too old or whatever reason. But I have new seeds from Deb Toothiger, I think, gave me seeds for this. So I'm going to try it again because I trust Marco's opinion. The bicolor is obviously not, in the name, is not obviously not what you think of when you think of a bicolor tomato, which is generally like an orange pink or orange yellow type thing. It's for the bicolor means that some fruits are pink rather than red. I like the pinks. Large, oblate, slightly ribbed, juicy red fruits with ideal flavor, quite rich and sweet. Ideal choice for a big red heirloom tomato. Regular leaf, indeterminate. good yield, and it's also known as Garote or Ancestral de Aracena, referring to Sierra de Aracena region of southwestern Spain. And then, like I said, bicolor means that some fruits are pink, some fruits are red. Has anybody grown this one? They do look like tiny pumpkins. This photo came from, I always forget their name. They're in Australia, and my seeds, when I ordered from them, got confiscated, which happens often from Australia. What's the name? Uprising Seeds. I know Deborah Henderson's gotten, in fact, a lot of people got their Verde de las Landas seeds from them. Uprising starts with a U, whatever it is. This is their photo. Not much out there about it. Has anybody else grown it? Heidi's growing it. Think I'm growing it. Oh, so Alex confirms. Such a stupid comment. The translation is right, and she's Ukrainian. Do you know who she is? I hope she watches so I can see that she didn't, like, hurt my feelings. Hi there. I'm annoying. All right. Next one. Oh, another Bill Yoder. I didn't mean to put them so close together. Head Over Heels. And I have to be honest with you, I'm such a geek. This is from the Tears for Fears collection. And I love their version of Head Over Heels, but there's also a version from the Go-Go's. Head over heels, where should I go? Can't stop myself out of control. Maybe that's why she thinks I'm annoying, because I sing too much. But then there's Something Happens and I'm Head Over Heels by Tears for Fears, which is what this one is. And isn't this a beauty? Very productive, resilient tomato that matures mid-season. The flavor is more complex than other similar tomatoes like Ananas Zebra or Cherokee Lime Stripes. Not as tart as Green Zebra, which is good because I'm not a Green Zebra fan. There's a hint of a tangy component under the sweetness. I like to feature this tomato in a salad to add beautiful color and extra flavors. So here's something interesting. And so I'm always claiming, when people ask, what is a good tomato for fried green tomatoes? And my answer is always the same. Any unripe tomato is going to be good. I mean, with some exceptions, but any unripe tomato is going to be great for fried green tomatoes. All unripe tomatoes kind of taste the same. They're very, very tart. They haven't started the ripening process yet. That's where the gentleness and the smoothness and all of those wonderful flavors come in. But here's what Bill says about this. Now, Bill is a foodie like me, and he also caters to all kinds of restaurants, like high-end restaurants in the Atlanta area, which is where he lives. He says, a recipe idea for those of you that plan to grow it. I had a chef use it when ripe for a fried green tomato dish, and it was fantastic. The interior holds up well, and it was much better than using an unripe green tomato. So I stand corrected. As a matter of fact, I was giving Luke from M.I. Gardner trouble over that statement, so maybe I stand corrected. In general, I will tell you that any unripe beefsteak tomato is going to taste great, but sounds like Head Over Heels may be just firm enough when it cooks, it doesn't turn into mush, which is what even a green tomato when ripe will generally fall apart. So I'm going to try this. I trust Bill's opinion. I know that by reading her name. I was kind of hoping, well, I'm always hoping you're going to be here, of course, Alex, but I was kind of hoping you could give me the skinny on whether it was Russian or Ukrainian or whatever, and if it translated properly. How annoying you are. I should name a tomato that. Oh, hang on. Speaking of Mazzora, wait. Keep singing Lauren Gogo's Head Over Heels, where should I go? Can't stop myself out of control. Belinda Carlisle was great. That band was great. Were they not? They were great. I love the Go-Go's, but I also love Tears for Fears. So both songs are great, just very different. Satya says, I'm so glad you reviewed this today. I'm placing an order with him shortly. All right, back. I think I need to name a tomato. How annoying you are. I need to remember this. I totally will. How annoying you are. Annoying tomato. I've got some things in the works. Maybe a micro. How annoying you are, micro. All right. So I gave a sneak peek, and I just talked about this one a couple minutes ago. It's called Mazzora. This is one that Marco gave me last year. I honestly, I wouldn't have grown it, except he's like Alex. He's pretty insistent. Marco says you need to grow this, I know I need to grow this. And I shared this last week. Alex from the Lucky Garden channel, if you don't subscribe to his channel, YouTube channel, you must. These are the most beautiful tomato videos you will ever see. He takes great pride, and he does them in 2 languages. He does one in English just for we English-speaking people. Does a tremendous job. So Mazzora, so I grew it last year, and I think it was the very first tomato I reviewed for the growing season of Lauren's Tomato Awesome Sauce, my Thursday show. I'm pretty sure it was one of the first ones ripe, and it knocked my socks off. It looks like a whole lot of nothing, but let me tell you, it's delicious. Now, there's some controversy. Some people are saying it was a hybrid, an F1 hybrid. And what that means, for those of you that may not know, is if you're growing a hybrid, like Sun Gold is a perfect example of a F1 hybrid. If you save seeds from it and grow it again, you will get a tomato. You will never again get Sun Gold. It won't taste the same. It may look the same, and then as the years progress, it will tend to break apart and resemble more of what the original parents are. It's like a recipe, like McDonald's, right? For a Big Mac, wherever you find Big Macs all over the world, whatever McDonald's, they have a very specific recipe that you're going to find. So that is what an F1 hybrid is. And some of the best tomatoes in the world, like Sun Gold, are F1 hybrids. This is a Japanese variety. Marco told me that the version he gave me was a dehybridized version, or not an F1. I gave seeds out to so many of you. I am growing it again and hoping it's the same as I had last year. He had grown it out a couple of years before he gave it to me, I will tell you that, and he said they were all the same. But I know some of you ordered from a place in Germany. Some of you may have gotten it from elsewhere. Tomaten Welt, our friend Julia from Tomaten Welt. I don't know. Actually, her Mazzoras came from Marco too, as a matter of fact. So I'm hoping I will see this year if they are the same. But let me tell you, I'm using it. I have some cross ideas, which one of the reasons why I'm growing it again. But that green seeds and goo, you can see the brick score is a 9.2, which is very, very sweet. Tart, complex flavors. We rated it a 9 out of 10. I'm looking at my review is on my Instagram. By the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, please do. I haven't put up a detailed review in a long time, but my Instagram is Mr. and Mrs. Tomato Head. And I do spend a lot of time, especially on tomatoes that you may not have heard before, that you can't find information on. I like putting those up. And if you're watching from Instagram, hi there. I can't see your comments because the platform I use, I can't see any comments coming in, so you can watch me, but I can't watch you, so I'm not ignoring you, but very much am glad that you're here. And if you want to get comments in, just come on over to my YouTube channel, Mr. and Mrs. Tomato Head. All right, next one. Novi Han Pink from Bulgaria. Anybody grown this? Is Kina here? Where's my girl Kina with all our pinks? Charlie, the only girl band that wrote their songs and played their instruments, and they are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yes, they are, the Go-Go's. Yes. I'm also a big Duran Duran fan, many of you know, and it took years for them to get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is insane because they had so many hits. But I agree. Belinda Carlisle and the rest of the band, Jane Wiedlin, Kathy Valentine, there's a fourth one. I forget her name. Jane, no, I already had Jane. I don't know. They were great. They were a great, great band from here in the United States. Ah, thanks, Alex. I feel lucky to have you guys too. Hey, Greg. Wanted to poke in and say hi. Glad you're here. Hope you enjoy the rerun. My Mazzora seeds have sprouted. Thank you, Lauren, for the seeds. You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, thank you, Larissa. Thank you guys very much. These are very much appreciated. I am Ukrainian by origin. Did I know that? I'm not sure if I knew that. But thank you for the, I don't know the difference between a super chat or a thanks. I'm not really sure, but just hit the on button, and Jen will be hopefully doing it on her show on Friday. I think you have to have 1,000 subscribers in order to do it. Certainly no pressure to anybody, but there's been a lot of generosity lately, and it goes to good use and is very much appreciated. So thank you, Larissa. Kina says, I am here, but not growing this one. I have to admit, this one's on the bubble because there's certain people out there, and you know who you are. You keep sending me these things that I can't not have on my grow list. This is why, and for those of you that maybe haven't started your seeds yet, now today is Wednesday, March 25th, 2026. Rob and I, we started some early seeds, our dwarfs, which I will turn into garage tomatoes. Those of you who've watched know exactly what I mean with that. And then some of the older seeds, like the ones I've got from the National Grin, thinking that they may have trouble germinating, which they did not, actually. They're growing great. But the rest of them, Rob and I plant in succession over the span of like 3 to 4 weeks, and we are starting them tomorrow. I'm in zone, it was 6B. I think they're now talking about everything shifting a little, so maybe 7A. Our last frost is around May 15th, but we've been screwed on May 17th before, so we tend to plant out more like the end of May, early June. That's when the soil's warm. So it really depends on where you live, when your time is. If you're in a zone like me and you've been able to hold off until now, I salute you. You won't be sorry. If you started a little too early, and it happens to the best of us, I say this because I've learned the hard way over the years. As long as you can keep potting up and have proper light above it, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You could top it and let side shoots grow. There's all kinds of different things. But I've seen a lot of people start way too early because we're excited. We're dying. Look at these pictures. We're dying for these tomatoes. And we want to start, and we think we're going to get early tomatoes, but we really don't. It's really about soil temperature. So if you think you're too late, I can almost guarantee you're not. I've started seeds until the end of May and still gotten a harvest here. Our first frost is usually around mid to the end of October. We've gone into November before. So I think you're in good shape. Put them out and tell them to be strong. Yeah. As my niece once told my dad when she was like 5 years old, she said, "Man up, Pop-Up." It's one of our family quotes. Man up, tomato plants. All right, what do we know about Novi Han Pink? Oops, lost my sheet here. I found it on Sophia Sakova's website. It is not one of hers, but she commented on it and said it's one of her favorites of the season. This was last year. Indeterminate, mid-season, powerful plant, amazing yield of raspberry red fruits in the shape of a wide heart. She said there's no small ones. They average 300 to 500 grams. The pulp is pink, oily, which means like buttery, juicy, very sweet. Super variety, she said. So that is why I want to grow Novi Han Pink. But it is on the bubble. I may have to bump it. There's a lot of things I've been talking about that are on the bubble. There's one I talked about, I think episode 1. I was super excited to grow Dwarf Clown by Dean Slater. I was given seeds by a tomato friend. And the first batch of seeds I put 4 seeds in the pot. They were obviously not dwarfs. They do not have the dwarf trait. They're growing very tall. I planted more, like I think my last maybe 4 seeds, and they're not dwarf either. So part of me is like, I can grow it out and see what it is. But if it's not me helping to stabilize the Dwarf Clown, I think I may just bump it. I need the real estate. I need the garden real estate. So that's kind of a bummer. But maybe I'll get my hands on Dwarf Clown at some point. I haven't given up on the second batch that they're not all dwarfs, but I think you can really kind of tell when you've been growing for a while. The stems are more stocky, and they start just resembling micro's really small. Dwarf will be taller than that, and then indeterminate will be tall and skinny. So I think unfortunately for me, I don't think it was stable, unfortunately. But I do know of somebody who she claims they're stable seeds, so maybe I can get it for next year. Hey, Sashka. Hey, everybody joining us. Thanks for being here. If you're just joining us, welcome. Make sure you go to the beginning of the episode and you'll see a funny comment I got that I had to translate. It was in Ukrainian. I won't keep showing it, but it is really funny. Friday will be Jen Joy. She's my partner in Tomato Talk Live on the first Friday of the month. She's starting her brand new gardening show. It will be this kind of a format, but she's talking about things. I mean, she'll probably mention tomatoes. She's a tomato head too. But in general, she's doing other gardening. So Ken Fry is doing peppers on Tuesdays at this time. I'm doing tomatoes Wednesdays and Thursdays. And then Jen is doing all other things gardening. She has the enthusiasm. If you subscribe to her channel, you know she's just lovely and genuine and fun. And she's been wanting to do something like this for a long time. So I'm really excited to watch her show. So that will be starting this Friday. And I think it's going to be every other week from what she says. So make sure you tune in. Okay, back to tomatoes. What's next? Hey, it's one from Ongwei. Ohio yellow pear. Did I pronounce that correctly, Ongwei? Ongwei ES, for those of you that may not know, if you're new to the channel, he is also known as Phil Seneca. He's a breeder from here in the United States, known for varieties that you may be very familiar with, like Queen Aliquippa and Gargamel, Turtle Purple, Lost Marbles. Those have been out around for a while, but there's also a lot of other things that many of us have been searching for a long time. Ongwei kind of left the tomato community for about 10 years, and he's recently come back. I was fortunate enough to be able to grow, Kina, Jen, and I be able to grow many of his varieties last year, but not this one. This will be new to me this year, and he is an excellent breeder. And look at this beautiful tomato. Here's what he says about it. And this, I guess, is listed on his Good Mind Seeds website. He's not currently selling, but he's looking to start again in the future. And Ongwei, if you're here and have anything... Oh, I did say it right? Good. My tendency was going to say Ohio, but I'm like, I bet it's Ohio. All right. You're rubbing off on me. Being a descendant from a combination of heirloom tomato genetics from Russia, as well as those from northeastern Native American selection, Ohio yellow pear has a unique and impressive pedigree responsible for its excellent quality. Abundance of large yellow pears with occasional pink blush are born on medium to large potato leaf vines, like that potato leaf. A lot of Ongwei's creations are potato leaf, which I love. Although they are a sight to behold, the flavor is the best characteristic. Ohio refers to the tomato's place of origin because it means beautiful waters in Onondaga language and is one of the names for the Allegheny River in Onondaga, called Pittsburgh by Americans. Interesting. Ongwei, feel free to add anything that I may not have gotten from your website, but isn't this a beauty? Hi, everybody that's just joining. Getting some people who are growing this. Nice. Thanks for joining in. Hope you don't find me super annoying. Okay, so last week I talked about this one, which I forget. Liz still has a great way of saying the thing. I think she says she liberates a variety. So she's been, I think the past couple of years, she's been able to get things out of the National Grin. I won't say from who, that's probably not fair, but she's growing a few this year too, and she says she's liberating these varieties. So last week I talked about this one called Mosage or Mosage. I know Val Smith is growing it as well. I'm really excited to get this into circulation, and Kina announced that the ultra rare group in TLC is also getting seeds for this. Jen's growing it, and I also gave seeds for both of the ones I'm liberating to Carol and Mark at Old South Seeds. I thought they were a great place they keep their stories alive with the varieties. And so she told me it was okay that I announced that they will be growing Mosage too. But here's the one I'm even more excited about, and you'll see why in a minute. Bam! Kina, Jen, and I have been dying over this. This one's called Beall's Gourmet. And I'm liberating this one as well. Looks like a lot of nothing, I realize, but it's got the coolest story to go with it. Got this out of the National Grin, as I said. Here's the story. I'm going to share the screen. I was going to try to summarize it, but you just have to see it to believe it. Am I geeky? I know. I am. I'm annoying. I came across the name. I mean, this was months and months ago I found out about Beall's Gourmet. And then I came across this document. This is from the USDA. So let me see if I can describe this properly. When somebody breeds a tomato, most people do not go through the trouble of spending the thousands of dollars that it requires to actually get sort of like a copyright on the tomato where the name is protected, the tomato's protected. Because I will show you, I'll scroll through this document, I will show you what a process it is. But this Beall's Gourmet, as you can see from the document here, it was awarded this this protection to Frances B. Chesser, who is the daughter of John Beall, who originally bred this variety. Let me show you again the tomato. So it's regular leaf. It's a pink. So I'm scrolling through this document, and I just have to show you. Okay. So here, this is the official document that says, on this 31st day of January in 1991, now she started this process in 1987. Well, she started the process of getting this protected in 1987. This was being bred for about 40 years. So this is the document that says, yes, you have it, and it is good, does it say here, 18 years. So this document was good for 18 years. So now, I guess the copyright has expired, but nobody goes through the trouble. Let me show you why. Here's document 2, where she's filling it out for the Department of Agriculture. If you look over to the left, the right, and I'm sure this may be small for you guys, I try to make it as big as possible. She filed on August 19th, 1987, and it was awarded January 7th, 1991. She spent $1,800 for the filing, US dollars, $200 for, I guess, receiving the certificate. So that's 2,000 US dollars in 1987. That amounts to a little over $5,000 in today's, with inflation and all of that. That is a lot of money, and which is why most breeders, I don't think I'm incorrect when I generalize with most, but most of today's breeders don't go through this trouble. So that is why, and I'll be doing a video, I promise, and my gardener's taking names of previously named tomatoes, and he can get away and applying it to his tomatoes, and he's getting away with it because there's no protection. But who's got that kind of money? It's crazy. But all right, let's get back to the tomato. So wait till you see this document. She says, all right, so she wrote this, even though she refers to herself in the third person. She said, Beall's Gourmet was originally derived from crosses made by my late father, John Beall, in his home garden. The specific cross is unknown to me. After his death, I, Frances Beall Chesser, planted seeds which he had collected, producing a very large non-acid tomato with an unusually fine flavor. However, the tomato contained a very large core and was subject to cracking at the calyx, which is the stem part, rendering it unsuitable for marketing. Chesser, referring to herself, continued planting it in the home garden for personal use. In 1966, she noticed one plant with perfect characteristics, including a fine texture and flavor, containing very minute loculi with few seeds, a small core, and no cracking, obviously a sport. If you don't know what a sport is, it's basically like a spontaneous, excuse me, mutation of a tomato that can happen. Not an unstable tomato. Unstable tomato never went through the process of getting fully stable, but something that could be stable for a very long time and then just has a spontaneous mutation, maybe in a branch or something like that. So she found this sport. And I don't want to read the whole thing because I don't want to take up the whole show, but I just want to give you guys an idea of why this is so special. She saved the seeds from that one tomato with the perfect characteristics. Went through a lot of trouble with stabilizing. This procedure of selective objectivity was followed in subsequent years using an average of 450 plants each generation and selecting only the perfect specimens to collect seed. No crosses were made with any other variety. Following this procedure during the 70s, the number of variants progressively decreased. By 1980, the large core was virtually eliminated, occurring on an estimated average of 1 to 1,000 tomatoes. And then kind of a summary here. She says, Beall's Gourmet is clearly a novel variety distinguished by its small loculi, scant seed, meaty center, and fine flavor. It most nearly resembles super steak, but matures 5 days earlier. Has a very pronounced tangy sweet flavor. Color is not as red as super steak, rather a deep rose as defined in the RHS color chart. All right. And then she says the epidermis, when peeled, is a pink color. See attachment. So she had to go through the trouble. See this letter? She had to go through the trouble of going to this professor at the University of Maryland at College Park who had to test this tomato and determine he scraped the pericarp from the skin of a fruit and could detect no appreciable yellow pigment in the epidermal tissue. Yellow pigment on the skin would mean it's a red tomato. The lack of the yellow flavonoid would be responsible for giving the fruit the pink appearance and color. So he had to go through that, get it all, the pages and pages of talking about everything to do with this tomato, the plant itself, the leaves. Look at this trouble she went through and spent 4 years. Is this not the coolest thing you've ever seen? She also goes through it's especially suited to canning and making juice. Excelled by none for the home garden, producing an abundance of fruit for all season. I found another document that that said it's got a Brix of 5.52, and nobody sells it. Nobody sells it. It was listed by Rutgers University in a tomato tasting they did in 2013, so it's not, far gone for years, like super amount of years, but I am so fortunate to get seeds for this. Keena's with me, I know. So excited for Beall's Gourmet. Is this not the coolest and geekiest tomato document you've ever seen? I love it. Really? I've done a big genealogy project on the Bealls of Maryland. Are they a big name? So I looked up Frances Chesser, Beall Chesser, and she unfortunately passed away in 2013 at the ripe old age of, I think it was 98 years old. I would have loved to talk to her. It's a commercial protection, so it's valuable to those with commercial intent, right? It isn't meant to protect hobbyists who don't expect to get the money back, right? Same applies to patents, exactly. Very, very cool, says Larissa. Interesting story. I agree. So I'll be growing this Keena. Jen, for those of you in the ultra rare grow out, you'll be getting these also. And make sure you check out Old South Seeds at the end of the season. They will be selling it. And of course, I will be sharing seeds freely, and I'm so excited about it. All right. I was giddy with excitement for that one. This one's called George's Green. A lot of the ones I'm talking about today, I feel like I've talked on my Thursday, what's my show? Lauren's Tomato Awesome Sauce, kind of recently, so they may seem like repeats to you, but they're not. So I just want to show you what's on my grow list. George's Green is from the United States. Regular leaf plants, green fruit with the yellow epidermis. Excellent sweet flavor, high yield, 85 days to ripen, regular leaf plant. First offered in Seed Savers 2000 yearbook by George Weiss of North Babylon, New York. And what does Tomato Faifu say? Fruits weigh 200 to 300 grams with green skin that turns amber when ripe, mostly flat in shape, ribbed at the top and with rounded shoulders. Fleshy flesh, very small pockets with little gel. Sweet and refreshing. Taste. Has anybody grown George's Green? I'm surprised I haven't. I've had the seeds for quite a long time. But there's only so many green and ripe tomatoes you can grow in a season. And I do try. I grow a lot because I love them so much. Excellent mid-season productivity. All right, next one. Here's a repeat from last year. A very special Spanish variety I loved, and I grew out for the Spanish Grow Out and Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap last year, called Habaneras. I was intrigued to grow this one last year. It had won all kinds of... Spain has a lot of tomato tastings and tomato festivals, and this had won them in Cantabria. Best tomato from Cantabria at the competition National Fair of the Ancient Tomato of Bizana in 2021. I'm going to be talking, maybe not. My friend Gigi's given me a lot of great seeds for a lot of great Spanish varieties. I forget if I've got one to talk about today or not. A lot of the seeds she's grown me, I don't have photos for. So I think my last episode, I may just, or I could put it in the group too. I may just put like a list of things that I don't have photos on. Some I don't even really have much information. So, but this one is a pink, very productive, mid to late season. We gave it an 8.5 out of 10. Brix was a 6.8, which is pretty high for a beefsteak. And I reviewed it on my Instagram. It's from the tiny mountain village of Abanias in Spain. It was one of our favorites of the year. I'm just kind of summarizing what our review was on Instagram. I wrote, I thought I would likely enjoy Abanias, but I had no idea how much I would love it and become obsessed with it. They may not look like much, but trust me when I tell you that these beautiful beefsteaks hold a succulent, heavenly flavor inside that I'm dreaming about and will grow again in 2026. And I am keeping that promise. It's delicious. Anybody, Rowena's growing it. Hi, Helena, love this story. Isn't it great? I love it so much. Mike, are you growing George's Green or are you growing Abanias? That was from 3 minutes ago. It might be George's Green. This is my only regrow from last year. Exciting. Yeah, weren't we talking like you didn't love it as much as I did, so you were going to give it another try? It didn't look like much to me. And I grew a lot of Spanish varieties last year. And I keep saying this isn't my Spanish year, but I keep getting more things from you, Gigi, that are making it a Spanish year. And another thing I'm going to talk about today that didn't come from you, that I just might die because I'm so excited to get it. Susan's growing Abanias. Excellent. All right. Growing that again. This one's on the bubble. Bola Canison. This one's from Mexico. Seeds came from Heirloom Seed House. Evan from Heirloom Seed House. For years, the man did not have a photo up of this variety. There was somebody who was itching. I think he got seeds from somebody in our group, and he couldn't find a photo, and he was going kind of like crazy trying to find a photo, and it didn't exist. But Evan clearly heard my feedback, and he now has this photo up. It is very rare, and it is very rare. It's from an obscure pink market tomato from Yucatan, Mexico, documented in a 1979 USDA collection from a public market. Rare, medium-sized, meaty, extremely flavorful pink slicer. Evan says each tomato averages 2 to 3 inch in diameter, so they're pretty small. Beautifully colored, very flavorful. Anybody grown this one? Heidi's growing it. Thanks, Rita. That's a big compliment. And I have an original, interesting grow list. I do try to get a little of everything. Although some years, like this year, is definitely the year of American breeders and tomatoes, although you wouldn't guess it just from my last couple, but it really is. Tons from Ongway, tons from Bill Yoder, Lee Goodwin, Joe Raris. I'll be talking about some of his in a bit. I feel like it's a lot of American ones. So Bola Canison. Hey, my buddy Jen. Listening on my drive home. I love you. I love you too. I already promoted your show like twice. Tune into Jen, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Friday for, oops, what'd I do? For her gardening show. What is it called? Let me pull it up again. Jen Joy's Gardening Grow List. There you go. It's going to be tons of fun. Tons of fun. I can't wait. Okay, next one. So this one it seems like I can't stop talking about, but I haven't had it on my grow list video yet. It seems like it because if you're in our community, which by the way is Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap, please join us if you aren't a member yet. We would love to have you. Doesn't matter if you've never grown before, we want to have you. We shall turn you into a tomato head, trust me. So the tomato came from Italy, was brought to Italy by somebody named Pat Cicci. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. It's a paste tomato, delicious paste tomato. He gave seeds for this, and there was a sport of this too. There's that word sport again. So a mutation that is a cherry tomato of Casino called Casino chips. His neighbor happens to be Joe Raris of Joe Matos, who's a breeder. So he gave the seeds to Joe for both of these varieties. Joe is selling Casino chips, and I know many of you were able to order Casino chips from him on his website, or not on his website, I'm sorry, Facebook. You can find him on Facebook. His account is Joe Matos. You can private message him, and you can order a lot. I think I'm talking about at least 3 of his actual his breeding tomatoes today. But you can also get Casino chips. He didn't have enough Casino to sell, though, and the seeds were a little older, so he sent me a whole bunch and said, please give these out. So I've been putting some updates in the group in Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap, and putting out seeds in groups of 20, free with a self-addressed stamped envelope, so not technically free. So I've been sending those out. So that's why it seems like I've been talking a lot about them lately. Pat Tichy of Michigan brought his family heirloom tomato seeds with him when he immigrated to the United States as a teenager. Pat's neighbor, Joe Raris, shared the seeds with Jeff Casey of Casey's Heirloom Tomatoes of Airdrie. And they still sell Casino. I believe they're the only place. No, Seed Savers Exchange, somebody on there also sells it. But virtually they're very hard to find. And Joe wants to really get them out there, which is why he so kindly donated, and I agreed to help spread them. Joe said, so he looked up Tatiana's Tomato Base has it, that Joe told them that he named it Casino after the town that Pat is from in Italy called Casino. And then they said there is no town in Italy called Casino. And Joe told me last week, he said that's not the true story. He wrote to me, the only reason the tomato was called Casino is because I have never seen him without wearing a baseball cap with the word casino on it. And one day when one of his tomatoes grew a sport and it was a cherry, we called it Casino chips, meaning like a chip off the old block, which is a saying here in the United States for like a son being the chip off the old block, and for referring to a dad like something emulating the parent. So there's Casino, and here is Casino chips, both brought over from Italy. So I've got both of these on my grow list for this year and excited about it. And I know many of you are growing Casino also, and hopefully you got seeds from Joe Raris for Casino chips also. Pretty says Joe Raris is very generous with his seeds. Is he ever, right? Very. Oh, Lisa, thank you. Ignore the trolls, Lauren. You are awesome. Great setup tomatoes today with great stories. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. I can't see what it does on YouTube. Obviously, I can see that you made a donation, but I can't see. I was asking Jen about it, like what exactly is a super chat. She said there's like a chat bubble that comes up or something. I can't see that on my end, but I appreciate it, Lisa. Thank you so much. My dog is the chip off the old block. I look just like him. Love it. All right, next one. Oh, I talked about this one on Lauren's Tomato Awesome Sauce last year, I think. Cousin Martina. I got these seeds from my friend Mira back maybe at the end of last summer. It was towards the end of the season. I could not wait to grow it. This one is rare because the company that was selling them is not in business anymore. It's from Matchbox Garden and Seed Company of Austria. I'm not positive that Matchbox Garden and Seeds from Austria, actually. The tomato is from Austria. This variety was gifted to Matchbox Garden 3 years ago by one of our customers. It was brought back from her family farm and winery, a variety that has been passed down in their family for generations. The plant produces incredible amounts of 2 to 3 inch long red paste tomatoes, all coming in over a 3-week period at the end of the season. Makes an excellent paste with its low water content and thick walls. It also performs well when dehydrated or oven dried. You know, I keep telling everybody I rarely grow paste tomatoes, but there's so many rare ones this year that I'm growing. There's another one. At least one other that I can think of that I'm growing. So anyway, rare, can't find it anywhere, must grow, will share. I promise. That's what I do. And thank you, Mira, for the seeds. This one I talked about on Lauren's Tomato Awesome Sauce not that long ago, maybe a month, maybe two. It's called Dina. Honestly, if I were just to look at it myself, I would think it looks like a whole lot of nothing. I know I keep saying that, but it's like, I'm not that big on orange tomatoes. I like more tang and acidity, and oranges tend to be a little more fruity and mild. I like the acid. But Bill Minky, who's a longtime seed steward and seller on Seed Savers Exchange, I had placed an order with him a couple months ago, and he sent me some extra things that he thought I should have, and he said this one, and he said it is the best determinate he's ever had. His listing says determinate, regular leaf, 3 to 6 ounce, orange, red cream colored fruit, and if you've grown this, please let us know. It's from Russia, developed by the N.I. Vavilov Institute of General Genetics. Regular leaf foliage. He said high yields, great flavor. He got seeds from Tamara Clement, who's in Canada. Tatiana's Tomato Based says, anything different? Excellent flavor, 4 to 10 ounce peachy colored round fruits. First offered in the Seed Savers 2007 yearbook. And then a site in Russia says the Dina tomato variety developed by the institute I just said. It was approved for use in the Central Ural, East Siberian, and Far Eastern regions in 1996. Recommended for growing in open ground and garden pots. These stay pretty small, gang. 55 to 70 centimeters, which translates in inches to 22 to 28 inches. So it's pretty compact. Taste of the fresh fruits is good and excellent. Anything else? I think that's it. Resistant to septoria leaf spot. Always a plus where I am. Oh, I don't know. That's a good question, Terry. Is there a country you don't have a tomato from? Well, I know there's many. But I don't know. I don't know. I do like to grow from all kinds of countries, obviously, based on my grow list. Oh, Linda's growing Abeneus. That's great. Oh, Anna's growing Cousin Martina this year, too. Great. Great. I don't know if anybody else got seeds or not, but that'll be a fun one to share. Oh, hang on. Anne says, I grew Dina last year. What did you think? Give us the skinny on this. All right, next one is Dora. I got seeds from Old South Seeds, Carol and Mark. This is developed by Keith Muller of the United States. It's a cross of Brandywine and Cherokee Purple. How can that be bad? I don't think it can be. Derived from F2 line selected solely for flavor. Later selection was for size and flavor. Excellent taste, consistent quality and flavor. A beautiful pink that yields 8 to 12 ounce fruits. Shows definite heat tolerance. A very tasty tomato. Was introduced to Seed Savers Exchange in 2007 by Susan Anderson of Texas. And then also by Sandhill Preservation Center in 2009. Anybody grown Dora or growing it this year? Oh no, I have seeds from Australia. Big Malacca last year was from Australia. What else? I've grown other Australians too. I know I have, or I know I have others. Actually, I'm not positive that Big Malacca is from Australia now that I say that. I think it's really a Greek tomato, but it was only sold in Australia. So I correct myself on that. Yeah, I know I have Australian tomatoes. I just can't think of any offhand. I shall have to get back to you on that. It would be fun, John, to create a tomato map with TLC favorites. That would be cool. Oh, yeah, right. Thank you, Alex. Yes, Patrina Nuske-Small, who's the co-founder of the Dwarf Tomato Project with Craig LaHoulier. So she's got tons of dwarf, like the Gondwana series, all from her. So yeah, I forgot about. Thank you for reminding me. That's crazy. Yeah, thank you, Kina. Same thing. Forgot about that. Forgot about pork Patrina. All right, here's the tomato. This tomato was the very first tomato I ever had on a wish list. Years ago, I saw a comment in a thread in the now defunct Tomatoville message boards. And the thread was on what are the sweetest tomatoes in the world. I don't know how I came across it, but thread like that's always intriguing. And somebody said Amarillo de Ladrunian. And they said, and I'm glad I copied it down, it said, no seeds available. Or he said, what's the sweetest tomato? It's Amarillo de Ladrunian. No seeds available. Even the town of Ladrunian is in danger of not having these seeds anymore. I dream about this one. Just amazing. It was one of the first times I had really heard Brick's score in relation to tomatoes, and it could be a she too. I don't remember the name. I have it written down, but you couldn't tell from the member name. Where was I just going with this? See, I'm so excited I can't contain myself. Seeds can't be found anywhere. This most wanted slide, I think, was my very first most wanted slide when I started my Lauren's Tomato Awesome Sauce show. I had virtually given up. And then I met a new friend. I want to thank him, but I'm not sure he wants the attention. What to do? I'm going to say it. Nuno from Portugal. He just asked me, like, is there anything, you're looking for, especially from Spain or whatever? And I'm like, well, there's this one, but good luck with that. And he searched and searched, and he put feelers out in all kinds of seed banks and all of that. And guess what's on its way to me? Amarillo de Ladrunian. I couldn't be more grateful and excited. I mean, Beall's Gourmet is pretty up there too, I have to say. But this one, I can hardly believe it. I know. Sweet, for sure, I know. I think did I not say what the Brix was? Convenient thing to forget. Yeah, 12. He said the Brix was around a 12. Yeah, it looks like that. Yellow with a white interior. I mean, what it translates to is yellow tomato of Ladrunian, which is a region of Spain. What else do we know about it? He found it. There's one site that sells it. That's almost impossible to get seeds from. Heidi Jory's actually tried. Then he got a response from a seed bank. They couldn't confirm if that's 100% the tomato. Then they were able to confirm that it was that tomato. They were submitted to the seed bank in 1994. Were delivered by a local farmer. But these seeds are very, very regional, land-raised variety. And so I'm indebted to you, Nuno, forever for gifting me with this tomato. I can't wait to taste it and grow it and share it with you all. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Kina. Of course, Alex remembers. He did do it. Alex from Lucky Garden channel did a wonderful interview with Patrina Nusky-Small on his channel. I was thinking the same thing. How can I forget her? What is maximum Brix? That's a good question. Usually cherries will be higher. And it's also hard. So many people have refractometers nowadays, which is a good thing. It doesn't tell the whole story about a tomato. It just tells the sugar content. And I think not all refractometers are the same, because I'm seeing some readings that are really unusually high. So you have to take it with a grain of salt. Plus our growing conditions and all of that are very, very different. I've seen, was it SUCR X25 say that it could be up to 14 or 15? I'm not positive. I think the highest I've seen on my end is one of the micros I'm breeding, which I think was like an 11 on the last generation. But we shall see. We'll see what the Brix is on this. Gigi, I was thinking of you, Gigi. Can't wait to know how this one tastes like. You already know if it's from Spain. I'm excited. I know, of course. All right. Please don't anybody harass Nuno for seeds, please. I would hate that, and I would be embarrassed. Okay, here's one from, I think, Russia. It translates loosely in English to "The Camp is Coming Back," or Tabor returns, however you pronounce that. It's a newer collector circulated Eastern European tomato, And it's gorgeous. Is it not gorgeous? Mahogany colored fruit striped in green and gold. Red, gold, and green. Red, gold, and green. Karma, 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 chameleon. You can tell I'm a child of the 80s. Culture Club. I loved Culture Club. They were no Duran Duran, but they were good. From a Russian message board, it says the fruits are round to more or less flattened, depending on size, with wide ribs and plump shoulders like a beefsteak. The color is dark mahogany with green and gold zebra stripes. Shoulders remain green. Flesh is meaty and juicy. Flavor is complex, rich, and well balanced. Simply a masterpiece. You can find seeds for this at tomatoeden.net, which I think is where I got my seeds from. And it just looks gorgeous. Happy to be spreading seeds for that one. Anybody else growing this one? Hi, Hector. That's my type of tomato camp is coming back. Yeah, Lisa's growing this one too. Good. Good. Be many of us sharing. Well, yes. Unsolicited hassling someone for seeds is a banning offense in TLC, is it not? Yes, but technically my show isn't Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap. It's my YouTube channel. But I humbly ask you all to please never harass anybody I say that I've gotten seeds from. People trust me with their seeds, and it's just lousy to harass somebody for seeds. If you see something and you like it, join the group, put it in Seed Seeking Saturday or our Most Wanted post. If the person sees it and they have seeds, they will gift it. I mean, you see how generous our group is with the spring cleaning seed giveaways. Oh my goodness, everybody's so generous. But please, yeah, if I do find out that anybody is private messaging anyone, it wouldn't be good. And that's in the group or here. I wouldn't take kindly to that at all. So please, and I'm saying this as if you guys do it all the time. You don't. I hear about it, but rarely. So I'm just asking you because I haven't said it in a while. You guys are the best. Oh, I did find this out. Who did I find this out? Oh, I know. Tatiana told me because I was asking her about it. Did I not write it down in my notes? I was asking her what it meant, and she said it's a gypsy camp. Thank you. I guess it didn't make it into my notes, but we just had a conversation about it a week or two ago because I was trying to figure out, and things were getting lost in translation. Like, how would you say this? And so we determined it's a gypsy camp. Thank you very much. Oh, Akelia, challenge accepted. I've decided I'm only growing the tomatoes that you sing about. Oh, you might find me. How annoying if I do that. All right, next one. Flesh for Fantasy. I'm no Billy Idol. This is a new one from Bill Yoder. Flesh for Fantasy. I did love me some Billy Idol. Do you know what we have? I got this for Rob as a gag Christmas gift like 20 years ago. Billy Idol's Christmas CD. It was in like the bargain bin if you've ever been in a Best Buy. I think it was Best Buy. Or Best Buy's now closed because nobody went in there. But there's like when you're waiting in line, especially around Christmas time, there's a bin of things for like $1. I saw it in there and I'm like, what a goof, Billy Idol singing Christmas. Would you know that has become a standard Christmas CD in our house? Rob and the kids love to tease me with it because I'm always like, no. But I have to admit, they're kind of catchy. And that CD goes for like over $100 now. It's a collector's item. But I'll have a blue. Oh no, that's Elvis. His version of Blue Christmas is funny. His Frosty the Snowman. That was pretty good imitation. Funny. All right, back to the tomato. Flesh for Fantasy. What is he? Bill doesn't say much about it other than it is a cross of Maglia Rosa and Sweet Cream, which would explain the growing habit and the shape of it. Beautiful. The stripes would be Maglia Rosa and Sweet Cream, the shape. So I am growing Flesh for Fantasy. Love some Bill Yoder varieties. Oh yes, Rach just Rach. He had a Christmas CD. I think you can actually download it now. But yeah, I have the original Billy Idol Christmas CD, which was supposed to be a joke. And every year they put it on. I actually love Clint. No, I don't want to leave site. Uh-oh. Every time I get these warnings, I'm like preparing to kick myself out of the broadcast, which I've been known to do. what was I going to say? Oh, I love Clint Black's CD, Christmas CD. I was given that. I used to work in the music business, like when I was right out of college. I was a publicist, believe it or not. And I was friends with another publicist who worked for Clint Black. So she gave me his CD. He's country, for those of you that may not know Clint Black, especially outside of the United States. That's a really good Christmas CD. And then Robin the Kids will stick in Billy Idol. And I always goof that I hate it, but I secretly love it. Just don't tell them I said that. Alex, I'm growing all of Bill's new varieties again. Of course you are. Alex and I are big Bill Yoder fans. I'm also a Bill Yoder fan as a person. He's a great person. Alex has interviewed him before as well. He's a really great and very, very humble person, which you don't always find in the tomato world. Gascon. My brain goes to a song from Beauty and the Beast about Gascon. Dun, 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 like Gascon. Dun, dun, dun. No, is there a Gaston? No, it's Gascon, right? I don't know. Gascon. We don't know much about this. I think there's 3 varieties I'm talking about today that are from Jardins des Tomates, a wonderful vendor in France who no longer ships to the United States, but you can order, they take these memberships. Depending on how much you pay for your membership, you can get varieties from them. So maybe you have a friend overseas that you can have them shipped to. But there's, I think, 3 varieties I'm talking about today that I either had already or that Kina so kindly got for me, that there's very little information about at all, which says it's going on Lauren's growing list. And this is one of them, Gascon. Beautiful round pink tomato in clusters of 4 to 5 fruits, weighing 200 to 300 grams. Kina, you're growing this one, right? Origin is unknown. An unnamed variety was entrusted to us, possibly from South America, hence the question mark. We renamed it Gascon because of its excellent it acclimates well, its good yield, and the excellent flavor of its fruit. No mention of leaf type. Excellent flavor. I go through on Jardins des Tomates, and you can like do the search filters, and I just go through and I put anything with excellent rating is what goes on my order. And this is one of them, Gascon. Who's the person from Beauty and the Beast like the jerk? Is that Gaston? I think it's Gaston, not Gascon. Oh, now I'm going to have that one in my head. Let's see if we can get another tune to sing. All right, this is one that Alex from Lucky Garden told me I have to grow. Why? I don't know. But he told me I have to. Oh, it's Gaston. Thank you, Tiffany. No one moves like Gaston. Nothing like Gaston. Oh, Charlie, Chipmunks rule Christmas songs? I don't know. One Chipmunk song I can deal with. A whole album, I think I'd want to shoot myself. But hey, whatever floats your boat. What does he say about it? Alex insists, in all caps, I grow this year. He says at Datarino, gold ivory came from my Italian friend Nicola. Alex, if you would like to provide more information, I am growing it because you said I have to. I pushed back, and he told me I had to grow 3. One of them is his, which I'll talk about probably next week. But just got seeds for this. Thank you, Alex, for the seeds. This is different from regular Datarino. This is Datarino Gold Ivory, which apparently is very unique. So, Alex, if you're still listening, maybe clue us in as to why I must grow this one. And then it's super pretty. Okay. Here's another one from Jardins des Tomates. A little more information about this one, and I did talk about this on my show not that long ago. It's from Mexico. It's called Mesa Verde. You know, if there's a green one ripe that I haven't grown, I've got to put it on my grow list. Jardins des Tomates says round green fruit weighing 150 to 300 grams, variety that appears to originate from Mexico. They average 120 to 300 grams, ripen in 80 days. Excellent. There's that excellent flavor again. Tomato FIFO lists it, and they say that it's named after a national park in the United States, which is true. That is a national park in the U.S. Is it from Mexico? Still named after a national park? Not sure. What else? Round with a slight ribbing at the shoulders. Green flesh with a sweet taste. Excellent eating qualities. So not only does Tomato Faifu say excellent eating qualities, but Jardins de Tomates says excellent. And by the way, I'm going to have to use Tomato Faifu for research from now on. I will never order from them again. I just had a really poor customer service issue with them, really poor, very, very rude. So, but I can't get away with not using their photos and their stuff. They are a great research site, one of the best, if not the best. I can't get away from that. I'm not going to boycott them that much, but I would warn you guys against it. I've done unboxings for them in the past, or a unboxing, I should say. I shouldn't exaggerate. I did one unboxing for them, and they've got great varieties. They used to have great varieties. Now it's mostly a resource. They don't sell all that much anymore, but I did just place an order, and there was a screw up with one of the varieties, and they wouldn't replace it. And was very rude about it, and not lost in translation either, because we went back and forth a bit. So, wah, that's a bummer. But I have gotten some great varieties from them in the past. The person that used to run it a couple of years ago, Fanny, she was fantastic. Loved her. Not so much the new one. Charlie says, I'm trying to get a lot of real Italian tomatoes from Italy. Pretty's growing Mesa Verde. That's great. Alex, you are growing it. That's all I want to know. I am, but why? Why? Why is this so important? Because I heard Dadarino wasn't all that great. I think it was Dadarino. But this is very different. I shouldn't say that this one's not great, because you're very insistent and I trust you. Oh, here we go. Okay. Ivory colored, let's go back. Ivory colored long cherry fruit with a rich flavor and a pineapple aftertaste. That does sound awesome. Tall, powerful, and disease-resistant plants, one of the best cherries in my entire collection. He has I don't know if it's a full video or a short on it, but this still is from, again, I forget if it's a video or a short, but these are his photos. This is his photo. I know, seriously, you had me at the pineapple aftertaste. Seriously. My elderly neighbor just asked me if I was growing green tomatoes. Of course I have some started for you. She smiled. GWR friend, not fried friend. I love it. I love it. I love that the elderly are hip to the green when ripe. If you've never grown a green when ripe, I encourage you to try. Start with Malachite Box. I've turned so many people onto it. I now have one I like better called Malapine, but Malachite Box is an excellent tomato. Okay, Alex says I have a full video on my channel. Alex, if you want to put the link to your video in the comments, that would be great so people can check it out themselves. I should have done that, and I apologize I didn't. All right. People say it sounds delicious. Mesa Verde. Anything else on that? Nope. Excellent taste from Tomato Faifu. Excellent taste from Jardins de Tomates. I'm growing it. All right, this next one's on the bubble. It's called Our Own Pink. Don't know where it originates. I think it's from the United States. I got my seeds from Bill Minke from Seed Savers Exchange. If you don't know what Seed Savers Exchange is, I think I showed this not too long ago, but they're a site where a lot of tomato collectors can go and sell their collections. Varies in cost, and some of them take Venmo, PayPal. Some of them you have to mail a check in. Bill Minke's one of those, but all the varieties, and it's not just tomatoes, all the stuff on Seed Savers Exchange is available in this catalog. This is their yearbook. So when I talk about things like was put in the Seed Savers Exchange yearbook 2007 or whatever, it's something that looks like this. Potato leaf, very large pink. That's what got me, Kina. Outstanding flavor, meaty flesh, excellent yields. Tatiana says their source was John Seawald from New Jersey, so that's the earliest that I know of. I think maybe 2007 it said, but I didn't write that down. Bill Minke says pink purple, indeterminate, potato leaf, high yield, very good flavor. He got his seeds again from Tamara Clement in Ontario, Canada. Oh, friend and fried. She fries everything. Grew up in the same southern town all her life. I love it. I love it. Um, yeah, they are big. 12 to 24 ounce, says Bill Minky. Tatiana's is 8 to 18 ounces. So those are big pink tomatoes with potato leaf. I don't know. These things are on the bubble and I just can't get rid of them. I still haven't decided if I'm going to use my friend's farm property. I don't think I am. I think that it would be cruel to myself. I mean, I live with chronic pain and illness, and while I do well most of the time, I can do too much and get overwhelmed, and things can go downhill for me. So I think I may not, but it's just so tempting. All right, Limicino. I talked about this one on my Thursday show not that long ago either. I know Angwei was a big fan. I was looking. This was one. It wasn't quite as old as Amarillo de Ladrunian on my tomato wish list, but this was up there. I'd heard about this variety from Chile, and lo and behold, I put it in. I think Seed Seeking Saturday, and someone was granting it to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, somebody found it. And then I happened to Google, and there's a newish vendor from here in the United States that carried it. So I told this person, like, you don't have to gift it to me. I just placed an order. They have all kinds of Chilean varieties of all kinds of things. They have 3 tomatoes on their site: Limicino regular, Limicino yellow, and then the other one, I think it starts with an R. They're all from Chile. I found about it from lascietedesplantes.com. It says the Limicino tomato originates from the towns of Limache, just north of Santiago in Chile, where it is a powerful symbol of regional cultural identity. We who love big, plump, productive tomatoes fell under its spell. Disappeared from the trade some 40 years ago because it didn't hold up well in terms of shelf life alongside commercial hybrid varieties. It's back on the scene today as people have remembered its flavor and suffered from its absence. Fruits ripen from 75 days after transplanting. And then Lone Crow Farm, the name of the vendor who I got the seeds from, says Chilean heirloom from the town of Limache in the Valparaiso region, preserved through local cultivation from 1938. This landrace variety started to become displaced by foreign tomato varieties in the 1960s due to its short shelf life and brief harvest period, and almost entirely disappeared in the 1980s. In 2015, only 4 growers in the Limache area still grew and kept Limicino seed. And that's what I had heard that made me want to get it. Efforts by INIA and Universidad Técnica Federico Santa Maria revived this cultural legacy, making it commercially available again after 40 years. Large ribbed beefsteak, pink in color, occasional yellow streaking, rich in lycopene with antioxidant compounds, celebrated for its distinctive, tangy sweet taste, bright aroma and firm yet juicy texture, short post-harvest window, approximately 4 to 7 days before quality declines, which is kind of a bummer, but honestly, those are some of my favorite tomatoes, the ones that have such thin skin that they don't last long. Yeah, I think I'm going to like this one. And they got their original seeds from Vivero El Pueblito in Liray, Chile. So that's a real special one that I'm super excited to grow. They look delicious, don't they? They do. They look heavenly. Can't wait to grow it. All right, next one. Hey, it's another one of mine. I think I've talked about the other 3. This may be the last one of the 4 that I'm my current breeding project that I haven't talked about yet. This is another dwarf. So I showed, I think episode 1, I showed my dwarf called Cha-Ching, which is a green when ripe striped blunt heart dwarf that I'm really excited about. This is also a dwarf. It's just a regular green when ripe. You can see it's got a little bit of a blush on the bottom in the center there. I don't have much to say about it. It was delicious. You can see the bricks was a 5.2. Plants were around 36 inches tall. That would be what? That would be 90 centimeters. Productive. Yellow epidermis ripens to an amber yellow, as you can see. Lots of seeds and goo, green seeds and goo, which is my fave. I loved it. Rob and I both loved it. So alas, we are growing it again. I've shared some seeds with a couple friends like Kina and Jen. and a couple other friends who have offered to help me grow it out and see what we get this year. So I've got 2 dwarfs and 2 indeterminates. This is the second dwarf. Angwei's growing cha-ching. Yay! Thanks, Angwei. You can still find higher bricks in the future generations. I think I will. I have a feeling I will. This one was a bit abused, shall we say, last year. Achilles is growing it. Honored to be given the privilege of growing Elphaba's bright idea this year. Thank you for growing it. For those of you that don't know what Elphaba is, that is the Wicked witch from Wicked. We are a big Broadway family. My daughter's a singer and actress. We've seen Wicked more times than I care to admit. The Broadway show, where we live about an hour and a half outside of New York, so we get to see Broadway shows. But I also love the movie, and so I was trying to think of a clever name. Cha-ching fit in well with the green when ripe striped dwarf. I'm like, what's something else that's green? Elphaba. Elphaba's green, and she's the nice witch, as it turns out. So it's Elphaba's bright idea. Bred by me of the United States. All right, this one's not stable, not released yet. Don't ask for it in Seed Seeking Saturday because she's not done with it yet. But Heidi's giving me, Heidi Dolan from the United States, giving me some seeds for a work she's creating called Good Golly, Miss Molly, named after a young lady who she mentors with disabilities. It's got a little point at the bottom, as you can see. I don't know much more about it. Not yet released, indeterminate. That's all I know. I always love growing Heidi's creations. Last year, Kina and I both grew Heidi's Wicked Good, which was an accidental bee cross that she stabilized, but also Pa's Pride. I got to grow that one. Probably my favorite micro mini dwarf of all time. Got to grow that one early, so I'm excited for Good Golly, Miss Molly. And Gigi's Glory, can't forget that one. That's a great micro too. So thank you, Heidi Dolan, for those seeds. Green honey. I talked about this one on my Thursday show not long ago. Also, another green one ripe. This one is bred by Joe Raris of Joe Matos. So you can find him on Facebook at Joe Matos. And he is in our group also in Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap, Joe Raris. So he said, so a lot of this Joe Raris craze came from, I was sharing that I got some seeds a couple of years ago for a green one ripe variety called St. Patrick's Day. And I shared photo of it, said I was going to grow it this year, and people were like, oh, I need St. Patrick's Day. And so reached out to Joe, and then I did a breeder resource sheet for him. Also, there's kind of a triangle here. So he's also got his own tab on the J&L Garden Seeds website, which is run by breeder Lee Goodwin, and they're friends. So he has a tab that says Joe Raris Varieties. So we've had a craze with his stuff this year too. In fact, we're doing a grow out for Lee Goodwin varieties. So it's a little bit of a triangle, and then now the casino thing is all happening. So so Joe told me, if you like St. Patrick's Day, you've got, or not that I would know it yet, but he's like, green honey's even better. So I have to grow both. I must grow both. Recent variety, round golf ball size fruit. What does Joe say? Green when ripe salad tomato. He says it blows away St. Patrick's Day as far as flavor. It's got potato leaf vines, whole clusters of some of the sweetest green and gold tomatoes on earth. That is not from Joe. That is from Lee Goodwin said that. For 2 years now, this has been one of our favorite tomatoes for market. When people sample them, they are absolutely astonished by the rich flavor. It's a little later at around 75 days, but well worth the wait, and the plant will continue to produce the golf ball-sized fruit until frost. So that's green honey. I'm sure that several of you are growing this, and probably St. Patrick's Day also, that because Joe started taking seed orders for the very first time this year. So if you still want to, you can find him on Facebook at Joe Matos. And you can check out in our group guides in TLC, we have a breeder resource sheet for, he doesn't have a lot that he's bred, but Supernova is one of them that I'm also growing. I'm talking about at least one other one. I was going to say today, but today's almost done. Oh, I guess in 2 more. I'm talking about another one. Okay. Next one. We have another one from Angway. This had been on my wish list for quite some time too. Animas en la agua. So on his website it says animas en el agua, and he told me with it should be en la. So if you know the language, there's the male and the female, so it should be en la agua because it's a female word. Doesn't this look special, huh? Can't wait to grow it. On his website, which is Good Mind Seeds, it says it's a new tomato. Now, this was back, Angway, 2014, maybe you wrote this? New tomato I developed with parentage from a Guatemalan heirloom crossed with a beefsteak I previously developed to be adapted to Haudenosaunee soils. Animas is a mid-season producer of flat, round GWR beefsteaks with strong sweet and sour flavors at the same time. The thin, clear skins rarely crack unless left overripe in the rain. A pink blush forms. I love the coloring. I love the green when ripe and that blush. I don't know that I've ever seen anything quite like it. Thick, velvety flesh. Wait, let me finish that. Pink blush forms at the blossom end, providing the visual cue to harvest. The thick, velvety flesh is good, fresh, or cooked for a green pico de gallo, salsa verde, or green pasta sauces. What else? Indeterminate vines grow to a length of up to 5 to 6 feet in ideal conditions with large potato leaf foliage. So there you go, Animas en la agua. Anybody else growing this one? I know at least a few of you are. Heidi, ugh, I just finished my grow list, but I have seeds for green honey. Yeah, I would recommend, according to Joe, that's the one you want. Green honey looks amazing, it does. I don't know how I missed all these comments. I'm growing green honey, says Amy. Looks amazing. Keely's growing green honey. Thank you, Gigi, for the seeds. Pretty's growing green honey. Pretty says Animas en la agua is going on my wish list. That is a beautiful tomato. All right, next one. Thank you, Angway, for the seeds for that, by the way. Here's the other Joe I'm talking about today. I love it just for the name. It's called Pop My Cherry. I don't think I had talked about this one on my Thursday show, maybe in a brief mention, but I haven't done a spotlight into it. He says it's from his breeding program. It's Pop My Cherry and Pink Champagne, which is another variety of his, are the result from crossing Sun Sugar and an unnamed red cherry from my test garden. From the original cross, I got 2 red cherries to choose from, Pop My Cherry, and I call the other Red Sugar, both equal, so it could have been a coin toss on who got released. So that's Pop My Cherry. Sounds good. Sun Sugar in the cross sounds really, really good. Growing a lot of cherries this year, which I love cherries. I do. I'm growing a lot of Lee Goodwin's cherries, growing a lot of Bill Yoder's cherries, and I have to grow this one just because the name's funny and cool, and it's not really out there, and I'd like to help get these things out into circulation too. The name Kina. This one's on the way to you. I'm pretty sure. Yes, it is. You and Jen. Linda must be behind a little bit. Looks like a Lauren tomato for sure. Beautiful. Alpha Buzz, my honor to grow this as well. Thank you for growing it. Alpha Buzz, bright idea. And 2 more. All right, this next one was sent to me. It's a creation from a member of our group of Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap. And if you're just joining in, please join us on Facebook, Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap. I'm a co-admin with Jen Joy and Kina Tonerud. And so I got approached by her a couple months ago, I guess. And she thought she was growing dwarf confetti last year. And it wasn't dwarf confetti. And she got something else that she loved and is looking to stabilize. And the name is Pretty Good. This is a play on words, also a very clever name. This is named after Alex Pretty and Renee Good, who were both Americans who were killed in the horrific, I don't want to get political here at all. Just because I grow a tomato doesn't mean anything as far as my politics. I will never talk politics on social media or on my show ever. I grew the Obama tomato last year. That means nothing. This means nothing, but I'm privileged to grow it because it looks awesome. Both ways. I don't ever want to go there. It's not healthy for me. And I tend to I don't unfriend people, but I unfollow them so I don't see their politics either because I don't really want to. Um, Too much ugliness in the world already. So anyway, but she named them after these two huge losses. These two people that were protesting in Minneapolis. I'm sure most of you must know the stories, but what a great way to honor them with the names Pretty, Alex Pretty, and Renee Good. Pretty Good. It's a beautiful and clever name for a tomato. She doesn't. It grew at her friend's house, so she's not positive if it was a dwarf or not, because she said it wasn't staked and it kind of sprawled a little bit. So we're going to see. I don't know how many plants she's growing this year. I'm only growing the one. Thank you. I didn't even. Oh, it's on there. Paige Stewart Farby. Thank you so much for the seeds for this. It's not, definitely not dwarf confetti, and it looks amazing. And I just love the name. Love the name. Love the sentiment behind it. What else? Anything? I guess that's all we know. It was supposed to be confetti, popped up in her 2025 garden. It was absolutely delicious, and she wanted to stabilize it. So thank you, Paige. I don't know if you're here. I know I told you I was going to be talking about it today. So, yeah, I thought so too, John. That's lovely. Both the naming and the tomato. Pretty Good looks gorgeous. I agree. What a great name. Amazing how that worked out with those two last names, isn't it? All right. And last one. I've talked about this one on my Thursday show also. We're so sorry, Uncle Albert. Isn't that a Beatles song? It is. Uncle Albert. I think so, right? I'm not just making that up. We're so sorry, Uncle Albert. This one looks fantastic. Think it's from Russia? Not positive. And I think I did talk about it on my Thursday show. I created a new graphic and then I saw I already had a graphic made. Tall mid-season. This information's from tomatoniywpomodoro.ru. This variety produces delicious, aromatic, multicolored fruits that take on a fantastic color scheme when ripe. The outside of the tomatoes is a whimsical mix of pink, green, burgundy, and yellowish tones. When cut, a pink core with pink veins appears against a greenish background. I mean, look at this. The interior kind of looks like last year's Elves of the Puzzlewood Forest. There were a couple things I grew that looked like this. There was elves. There was, there's one I always forget. Angel's Soul is one of them, but there's one I always forget. Start with an F or a P. I don't know, but it looks like that. It has this beautiful tricolor. I love the gorgeous exterior as well. What do we say about flavor? Productive, delicious variety. Bush is mellow, neither vigorous nor spindly, but good looking. Well-distributed foliage. It's funny, some of the things, and the way it translates to English is always funny too. Flesh is marmalade, buttery, cherry, ochre, sweet, and very tasty. A 5-star rating that came from tomatinca.ru. Yes, that's the one, Julia. Thank you. I can never remember that name. Prune Iberipuera looked just like that too. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not convinced that Elves of the Puzzlewood and Prune Iberipuera aren't the same variety, to be honest. They were so similar. Similar flavor, similar growth habit, similar, like took forever to ripen. But both were good. Yeah, okay. Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey from Ram album, Paul McCartney. There you go. Thank you. So it wasn't the Beatles, it was Paul McCartney. Stacy's growing Uncle Albert. That's good. I want to grow that because of the name, LOL, and its beautiful colors, Uncle Albert. My son's name is Albert. Great. So that's it, gang. That is our 30 for today. Let's go back. Let me just go through them quickly. I don't think I've done that any other week, but we'll do that today. Sorry, I keep going hot and cold. Turning on my little heater. Gardening at Night by Bill Yoder. Garote Bicolor Aristanes, giving that another shot this year. Head over, nope, wrong one. Something happens and I'm head over heels. Mazzora. Novihan Pink. Ohio, Yellow Pear. Mosage, I talked about that one last week, but that's one of the ones I'm liberating from the National Grin. This is the other one, Beall's Gourmet. Yay! George's green, Abenius, Bolacanasin, Casino, and Casino chips, Austria, Dina. Boy, you wouldn't get. I keep telling you guys I'm going mostly American this year, but today's show certainly crosses the globe with the varieties. Dora, Amarillo de la Drunion. Yay! There it is. What a beauty. The camp is coming back, or Tabor returns. Flash for fantasy. Ugh. That's my Billy Idol impression. Gascon. Dadarino Gold Ivory, because I was told I had to. Mesa Verde. Our own pink. Limicino. Alphabet's Bright Idea. Good golly, Miss Molly. I didn't sing that one before. Green Honey. Animas en la Agua. Pop My Cherry. Pretty Good. Pretty good. You guys know what that's from? Pretty good. That's from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Uncle Albert's. And that's it. So thank you, everybody, for joining in today. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for my Thursday show, Lauren's Tomato Awesome Sauce. Welcome to any new subscribers that have been joining us today. And again, I'm just going to promote it one more time. Jen's show, Jen Joy's Gardening Grow List, starts on Friday, the same time, same format as this, but talking about other gardening things other than tomatoes. So, Jen, we're excited. We can't wait to tune in. And Billy, I had a lip curl. Yeah, I'm going to do that. There we go. Thank you, Sadia. Like and subscribe. I appreciate it, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and I shall see you hopefully tomorrow. Get some music to take us out.